Hey everyone, this week we're going to talk about benchmarks. Although most people know what the goal of a data set is when they're building a visualization, it's not often that they remember to include that goal in the design of the visualization. Benchmark indicators are an important piece of data storytelling that show not just where your data is, but where it's trying to go. There are a few straightforward ways to do this effectively. The first is by using benchmark lines. Benchmark lines can be created easily in charts in Microsoft Excel by simply developing a combo chart. Here we have a simple data set that shows the sales for 3 products and the consistent benchmark of $120,000 for each of those products. If I create a combo chart, automatically we're given the bars of our sales and a line chart that shows the benchmark. We can adapt this to make it a little better looking using some tools that are important to know if your benchmark is not consistent. For example, let's say that one of these products has a slightly higher benchmark. Now that straight line doesn't look so good. So if we right click and go to Format Data Series, we're given our options for editing this line. Clicking here on the paint bucket, we're immediately taken to the format options for the line itself. If I choose no line and instead choose a marker, expand marker options, and choose a built-in marker, it first defaults to dots, which I can change to be any size I want, or I can change it to a line. And again, change it to any size I want so that each bar has its own individual benchmark line drawn centered above its label. I suspect that this is the most common way that most of you will incorporate benchmarks into your data visualizations in the workplace. A second common method is indicator dots. Indicator dots are another built-in tool in Microsoft Excel. Consider our data set again. To build indicator dots into a visualization, I would highlight the data, choose conditional formatting, and new rule. Here we can choose our icon sets. And here we have all of our options for building an icon set into our data visualization. I can set the rules that the data, which should be a number, needs to be greater than or equal to 1200 to meet our benchmark. And now anything that meets that benchmark is going to be green. And it defaults to assuming that anything that is negative we want to have in the red. That makes sense to me. It may not make sense depending on what you want to do, so you can customize this number and this number to change what those green, yellow, and red values are depending on what your audience needs. And then over here, we see that these indicators icons automatically load into our data. This is another tool that you may use commonly in the workplace. I often see these indicator dots used in longitudinal data of spreadsheets to show the most recent standing with a spark line running alongside that most recent data to very briefly show the upward and downward trends. Now, another thing you might see is a bullet graph. A bullet graph is a bar chart on top of another bar chart with a benchmark line drawn in it. And the bar chart behind the bar chart showing your data shows a range of poor, fair, good ranges of data. These are fairly new and not something that I'm seeing used often in the workplace yet, but you might find that they're helpful in your field. Your book walks you through the steps for how to make one of these in Microsoft Excel, and I encourage you to practice it this week. Let me know if you have any questions about the material.